In the past 40 to 50 years, the incidence of cancer in our country has increased explosively. During this period, most traditional Korean foods have undergone changes, leading to an increase in the consumption of unhealthy foods. As a result, many people develop conditions such as obesity, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and high blood sugar, which are all risk factors for adult diseases. Once these conditions are established, recovery takes a long time, and the chances of cancer recurrence or new occurrences also increase significantly. Therefore, it is crucial to maintain a balanced and healthy diet to reduce the risk of such diseases. 1 in 3 Koreans have cancer? The real reason why cancer is still scary. The probability of developing cancer during one's lifetime is 36.9%, and 1 in 3 people who pass away dies from cancer. Cancer brings immense suffering, including pain, cachexia, extreme weight loss, and organ dysfunction. However, I believe the greatest pain is the inevitable separation from family and loved ones despite being fully conscious of it. Over the past 40 to 50 years, the number of cancer patients in South Korea has surged dramatically, primarily due to increased consumption of animal products, sugars, and cooking oils. Interestingly, the intake of carbohydrates, which are often considered the cause of many diseases, has actually decreased, while the consumption of processed sugars, which remove the fiber, has increased. In simpler terms, it's not the carbohydrates themselves that are harmful, but rather the intake of simple sugars devoid of fiber. This dietary shift has led to an increase in cancer cases. Consuming complex carbohydrates, such as those containing fiber, is beneficial, but it is crucial to avoid simple sugars and processed sugars. There is a significant difference in the cancer treatment outcomes of individuals who maintain a healthy diet versus those who do not. When undergoing cancer treatment, maintaining a healthy diet helps combat the side effects of chemotherapy and leads to better overall treatment results. This is especially important because chemotherapy can significantly lower one's immune system and overall body condition. Therefore, it is important to consume a balanced diet, but to avoid certain foods. Among the foods to avoid are sugar-rich items such as those made from sugar and wheat flour, as well as beverages like sugary drinks, breads, donuts, and snacks that contain high amounts of fructose and glucose. These sugary foods lead to the formation of advanced glycation end products, AGEs, in the blood, which accelerate aging and contribute to cancer development. They are also linked to conditions like high blood sugar, hypertension, and high cholesterol, which can cause atherosclerosis and lead to serious complications such as heart attacks, strokes, and dementia. These foods should be removed from the diet, especially for cancer patients, to improve their chances of recovery and to minimize further health risks. Cancer patients' forbidden foods. These side dishes filled with carcinogens should be removed immediately after the popular chef Baek Jong-won introduced the idea that adding sugar could enhance the flavor of dishes. It became a trend to include sugar in almost every dish. This sweet-salty trend has now become ubiquitous in our food culture, but the use of sugar in cooking started long before Baek Jong-won. It's been well known that many restaurants, even the famous ones, often hide a touch of sweetness to enhance the flavor profile of their dishes. In Korean cuisine, sugar is added to a wide range of foods, from vegetable side dishes to stews and stir-fried dishes. Dishes like spicy chicken stew, braised kimchi, spicy stir-fried pork, and stir-fried squid all contain sugar. Sometimes, sugar is masked by spicy flavors. So it is not immediately noticeable, but it contributes to the dish's overall taste in a subtle, hidden way. The problem isn't just the sugar in cooking, but also the high intake of sugary snacks and drinks throughout the day. Consuming excessive sugar, especially after meals in the form of sugary drinks and desserts, can rapidly raise blood sugar levels. If the body doesn't use this sugar for energy, it will be converted into fat, leading to obesity and a host of other health issues. This is a significant concern, as excessive sugar intake is linked to a rise in cancer risk. Increasing cases of breast cancer. What's the cause? According to statistics from the Ministry of Health and Welfare's Cancer Registration, the number of breast cancer patients in Korea has more than doubled in the last 20 years. The rate has increased from 12.8 to 34.3 per 100,000 people during this period, a rate of increase that is unparalleled worldwide. Breast cancer is typically attributed to both genetic and environmental factors. While genetics is often thought to be the major cause, hereditary breast cancer accounts for only 5% of cases. There is little reason to believe that the genetics of Korean women have drastically changed over the last 2 decades, so environmental factors likely play a much larger role. One of the most significant environmental factors is the exposure to female hormones. Female hormones are crucial for maintaining femininity and are linked to 80 to 90% of breast cancer cases in Korea. The longer a woman is exposed to these hormones, the higher her risk of developing breast cancer. In the past, early menstruation and later menopause meant that women had shorter exposure to hormones. However, with earlier puberty and later menopause, women today are exposed to these hormones for much longer periods. Additionally, the trend toward later childbirth, especially after the age of 35, has further increased hormone exposure. The westernized diet, which tends to be high in fats, has also contributed to an increase in breast cancer risk. High-fat diets lead to an increase in body fat, which in turn promotes the production of female hormones. As a result, being overweight or obese increases the risk of developing breast cancer. Thus, understanding these risk factors is essential for prevention and early intervention. Maintaining a healthy diet, controlling weight, and being mindful of hormone exposure can play a significant role in reducing the risk of breast cancer. Worst foods that amplify the risk of breast cancer. There are some surprising foods that can exacerbate breast cancer risk. Alcohol is one of the biggest contributors. Drinking just one alcoholic beverage a day increases the risk of breast cancer by 10%. If you consume 2 to 3 drinks per day, the risk increases by 20%. A research team from the Catalan Institute of Oncology in Barcelona tracked 320,000 women without breast cancer over 14 years and found that those with higher inflammatory scores had an increased risk of breast cancer. Foods with high inflammatory scores included processed meats, red meats, butter, margarine, and snacks, while foods with lower inflammatory scores included beans, vegetables, fruits, and tea. Foods that reduce the risk of breast cancer include mushrooms, soy products, oily fish, and cruciferous vegetables like cabbage and kale. Among these, pecans are particularly beneficial due to their high content of oleic acid, an antioxidant that reduces breast cancer risk. According to a study by Harvard University, the residual hormones and other factors left in food may be key contributors to increased breast cancer risks. Women who consumed more than 1.5 servings of meat daily had double the risk of developing hormone receptor-positive breast cancer compared to women who consumed fewer than 3 servings of meat a week. The researchers found that harmful compounds in cooked and processed red meats caused breast cancer in lab animals, and these same compounds may also increase the risk in humans. In addition, hormones used to promote the growth of livestock, such as cattle, are still allowed in the United States, even though they are banned in Europe. These hormones may be contributing to the rise in breast cancer. The research team highlighted that processed meats might be even more dangerous than red meats in terms of cancer risk. Stress is more dangerous than charred meat. The impact of stress on cancer development. While diet is important, stress may be an even greater factor in the development of cancer. Although there are not many studies that clearly prove a connection between stress and cancer, there is a common thread among cancer patients. Most of them experienced significant stress in the years leading up to their diagnosis. Stress has a major impact on the immune system, suppressing its ability to fight against cancer cells. Chronic and excessive stress can weaken the body's defense against diseases, making it more difficult for the immune system to protect against cancer. When we are under stress, the body releases stress hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline. Over time, these hormones can have negative effects on our overall health, particularly on the digestive system. If inflammation continues due to stress, it may contribute to the development of cancer. Therefore, managing stress effectively is crucial to maintaining both physical and mental health. Effective stress management techniques include meditation, yoga, and regular exercise. These practices help manage stress and maintain a healthy lifestyle, which is essential for preventing illnesses, including cancer. How to handle stress from a difficult spouse. Many people experience stress, particularly due to conflicts in relationships. The most common source of stress arises from marital conflicts, though it can also stem from issues with parents, children, bosses, coworkers, or friends. In marriages, couples often start with love and harmony, eventually facing conflicts that lead to feelings of estrangement or even hostility. In some cases, this may result in divorce or separation. However, when divorce is not an option, people may feel trapped in an ongoing cycle of emotional turmoil, which I refer to as anger. Living with anger is like carrying poison inside. It strains relationships, making life with others difficult. When you learn to manage anger, you free yourself from negative emotions and untangle the knots in your relationships, allowing you to experience true happiness. Recognizing that all conflicts, especially in relationships, are rooted in your own perspective is the first step to resolving them. Once you acknowledge this, conflicts can melt away like snow. The key to happiness is not what happens to you, but how you think about what happens. This concept, known as Ilchi-Usimjo, everything depends on the mind, teaches us that both happiness and unhappiness are determined by our mindset. Understanding this allows you to navigate relationships without stress and find joy in your connections with others. Miracle healing. Common traits of people who survived late-stage cancer in modern medicine. There is often little hope left for patients diagnosed with late-stage cancer. These patients are typically expected to survive only a few months. However, there are cases where people have miraculously recovered from terminal cancer. Common traits among these survivors include a diet focused on plant-based foods and positive stress management techniques. In life, we often hear the expression emptying the mind, which refers to the practice of viewing events calmly and accepting them as they are. Adopting this mindset allows people to let go of stress and accept situations without resistance. This mental shift can prevent emotional turmoil, leading to healthier relationships and reduced stress. When your emotional state is balanced and positive, your body produces happiness hormones, promoting a miracle-like recovery and a renewed sense of vitality. These individuals who experienced miraculous recoveries from terminal cancer often had a positive, flexible attitude toward relationships, allowing them to be unaffected by external stress. Through this, they cultivated joy and a sense of well-being, both essential components in healing and overall health.